talk badly about the C server.
Right.
But to be honest, the C server was the best server I played on. I felt like I didn't have anyone ruin the games. No one really threw. It felt like people they took playing Dota as a privilege, and that was just incredibly exciting to see. It was like very heartwarming. Because, I went back to NA, and my first 4 games someone ran down me. So, I like C.
If you'd like to hire Owie for advertising in any NA Dota, he's free and available right now. So, comes with good pedigree. We'll head into our third and final draft between IG and EG. It's Invictus Gaming versus Evil Geniuses. And as we head into this one, Fog, what are you expecting? More of the same from IG? Do you think they're settled now? They've finished their experiments and they're just going to go for the win?
Yep. Do think so. Yeah. I think that's, I mean, after that game too. That one did, though, they did struggle a bit, so maybe it put a little bit of hesitation for them. But
doubt in their minds?
Yeah, a little bit. But I still think I would see them do the same kind of style that they've been doing.
I think if they're thinking along the lines of we should go back to our old stuff, it had success, even though they had a little bit of struggle in that last game, they probably are just feeling happy that they won one.
Yeah.
I think they were starting to get scared that they were missing something, that something had fallen apart in their very well-oiled machine.
It was 3 in a row up to that point.
Yeah, that's scary as someone who just won
not
DAC.
Right. Yeah.
So I think IG will be very happy to play what they were playing before.
Okay.
Sticking with the Furion ban. They leave the Wisp again.
Furion and Lifesteal are gone.
One interesting thing about the CG ban this time is that they did not go for any of Aboka's heroes. They specifically went for that Legion Commander, and they guess, they're just tired of seeing that CM at the beginning, and they're curious to see what other teams are going to pick.
Yep.
I think it was planned, too, because they stole the Magnus, so they couldn't pick Ricky Magnus off the bat.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, IG doesn't really play Wisp, so...
Do you think they want to give him the Ricky as well? Want to play him, see how they do it, try and figure him out?
I don't know if they want to give it to them, but I think sometimes it's just better to go in knowing what the enemy's going to pick. I think IG will pick the Ricky because EG did run Magnus Ricky to some success. Crit's actually a very, very good Ricky player. I think Zai plays it too.
Zai plays it
too. I'm not even sure who played on that game because both of them can play it very proficiently.
Yeah, they've played it several. They even played it without Mag one of their games. They did lose that one, but they did pick it in the first 2 anyway without it.
Yeah, it was pretty quick through the bans. They figured out what they wanted, and first pick was pretty quick, but that Magnus pick has actually seemingly given IG something to think about, so they do go for the Ricky.
Sure. I think
value that very highly.
They're debating whether to, give them the Ricky, play against it, or take it themselves.
So their next pick for IG.
Don't think they want to. I was going to say, did they just take the other support that they want?
I think what
they can match
should happen here. Yeah, I think what Falk said, matching the offlaners here would be great. You already have a hero that's going to give you the ability to roam around on the map. If you can get a good lane matchup versus Magnus, what happens generally when you have the weaker lane matchup is you either have to jungle or you sort of just get sacked in lane. Ricky makes it so it's very hard to jungle, and when you're sort of sacked in lane, it gives Ricky a kill threat on that lane, and that's just playing to Boboka's strengths right there.
I think it's either they match it or they maybe go for like their Lina, one of their like usual extended openers that they used to do, but they haven't really done that here. That's what they used to. That's what they were doing at like H Cup and stuff. But now I think it might be a little bit different.
That was one thing I was thinking about as well, is maybe go for something like an Invoker and take that away from Sumail and give it for yourself, right?
Ooh. That is a very good lane matchup
Guardian
versus
Angel
Magnus.
too versus Mag later on. Like, it's very good, very strong.
As far as strong laners go, people often forget Omni. I think Omni, we're talking about Legion Commander, we're not too sure what can contest him. If there's anyone who can do it, it's Omni Knight. And Omni Knight actually has stronger matchups than Legion Commander against a lot of heroes. I think Magnus might be one of them.
Yeah. Omni Ricky is pretty cool too, healing Invis heroes.
It is. When that purification hits, you don't know. It's like a finger of death.
Yeah.
Rubik, that's a classic Omni Knight counter.
Yep.
The way you counter Omni Knight is to become the Omni Knight.
Definitely just a safe pick too, but yeah, definitely against the Omni Knight there.
IG removes the troll.
Just a solid pick you can empower. I expect IG to ban out another empower user. Maybe not Ember since they already have the Ricky and Omni Knight, but perhaps even something like a Juggernaut or Lifesteal's banned.
Yeah, they tend to favor banning out OP heroes in second phase. So
Omni's pretty decent versus Jug though, right? With the Guardian Angel and Repel in like early stages, but Jug is also just very standard, just very good with the Empower because he just farms so much faster. But
I like the Juggernaut a bit for EG just because Rubik Juggernaut has always been a very high kill lane.
Yeah, very true.
Even though Omni is good, you can't purge off Repel anymore. You can't purge off the GA if they're repelled. Having the purge still is important versus GA, and Juggernaut's just a natural diffusal carrier.
Absolutely. Storm ban out by EG.
Maybe they're afraid of that Pocket Ricky strat we saw.
Repelled Storm is always terrifying.
Yeah.
You know,
Repelled Storm with a Pocket
sometimes I really want to know what Baboka thinks about before he sleeps at night. He's after that game, you know, the night before that game, he's like, you know, today I'm going to be Pocket Ricky. And after that game, he's like, I didn't get to Pocket Ricky enough. This time we're going to pick Omni-Knight with it so I can be insured the full Pocket Ricky. And then he goes to sleep and he's happy.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think, yeah, it's phenomenal. That Ags, everybody discussed it, but I don't think anybody has really seen it in a pro game. And we didn't get a full chance to see it, but we saw the potential and how it could have been very effective that game.
Yep, just the added duration makes it very annoying. The thing about an ultimate like Ricky's is it's not just 4 extra seconds, it's 4 seconds where you can leave the ultimate. So casting your spells on Ricky gets extremely hard. What happens with level 1 Ricky is like, we've seen it multiple times where, you know, he'll come out of it and someone will instant stun him because you can time it off it. Well, that's 10 seconds long. Like, how do you know when he's going to come out? He has so many different options and opportunities.
Yeah, definitely those mind games make a big difference.
I like the Anti-Mage ban. It's a good meta ban. I think it could be hard to push into a Magnus Rubik. They're both heroes with very good outspam. You play against an Anti-Mage, you're probably going to lose in the mid-late game.
So they went for the Storm ban, which is focused at OP, which we've seen before, and the Venge ban?
I mean, it counters both Q and burning a little bit, right? You know, the one thing they like to do is put it in that first phase and be able to, you know, select where they want to put that, either as the carry role or as the Heart 5.
Having multiple saves too, like Omni-Knight and Venge, makes it a lot harder for the mag to get like very good targets.
Yeah. Something you can say about heroes with Omni-Knight that have very strong team fight is that if you combine them with push, you can sort of force those fights.
That's
like, come fight me or lose your tower. Venge is a very good carry at doing that. I had this theory during DAC where Venge would counter Magnus. You know, I'd like bait my team, let them go RP'd, swap the Magnus out so we couldn't skewer them. It didn't work so well for me, but maybe something along the lines happened in some of their pubs. The Ember Spirit. Great hero with Omni-Knight.
Yeah. Great hero with Ricky too. It's like locking them under smokescreen.
Great hero for OP.
Yeah, one of his best, one of his favorite.
I sort of like the concept with Omni-Knight. The repels were nerfed a lot. So something you have to do when you repel someone is you have to get in there now. The cooldown's too long to say, oh, we'll just reset the fight, wait for our next repel like it was with the old one. So with these very mobile heroes like Rick and Ember, you're able to force these fights with a full duration repel. I expect to see... They have first pick, so I wouldn't mind EG actually picking their mid lane matchup versus Ember here. I think it's important that you get a good lane versus Ember Ricky. If you pick something a lot stronger than Ember, even if Ricky helps him, you're still going to win out the lane. Ember is... He's very weak in lane in a CS war. He's pretty good at killing, but if he's against like a Shadow Fiend with a little bit of backup, I think it's going to be pretty hard pressed to enter the lane even.
Do you think maybe the Ember pick was also like a deny pick from EG too? Because I think the Ember would have been pretty good with Mag, because then it's the mixed magical and physical bonus element versus Guardian Angel. So I think like maybe they were kind of thinking that too, but it's also very good for OP.
Yeah, I think it was a decent block pick. Omni and Ricky are decent versus Ember. They're pretty good, but at the same time, they're two heroes without hard stuns for the Ember. If he gets his, if he gets 4 staff once, for example, he's probably going to live, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love it.
This is great.
That is such a good pick. This Doombringer, you have so many options versus Ember Spirit. You can take the Purge Creep, Purge as a shield in the early game. He's just very, very good at killing Ember Spirit, one of the few ones. And, you know, the other counter to Doom Omni-Knight is, 1, you become the Omni-Knight, 2, you doom the Omni-Knight. And then you have one Omni-Knight, they have no Omni-Knights.
Yeah. And, I mean, Mag Doom, looking at those two heroes is always like, oh god, that's like super terrifying when you're playing versus those two type.
Something people often talk about is you have a hero like Magnus, you're going to want someone to bait for you so you can initiate. Doom is a hero who can run in and group everyone up for his Magnus to get this good RP. I also like it because I don't know what Ricky does to a Doom. Like, you know, you go up to a Doom and you hit him, he's going to hit you back. And he's going to hit you 3 times harder.
Do you think we'll see that Doom potentially be in the offlane or anything like that, or just combined with something, or is it just going to be a strict jungle from Zai or Crit?
I think it's pretty open. They could also, in that case, they would have the Magnus mid. I know Sumail really likes that hero, so it is a pretty decent option. Personally, I would like it to be on the support role this game. I think it's one of the heroes that if Ricky hits someone and you run in there, you dust him, you turn on your Scorched Earth, you'll be one of the heroes that can sort of just kill that Ricky.
Yeah.
So like a Spirit Breaker or Earth Spirit, the non-nerfed Earth Spirit. And we see a Warlock pick, so they see this team fight, this Rubik, this Magnus, Doom. They know they need to bring it back. It's a good combo with the Ember Spirit. You got Fatal Bonds plus all this AoE damage.
Great counter initiate. Yeah.
And they picked the Juggernaut we mentioned.
Yeah. So they do go for it.
I mean, such a safe pick with Magnus.
Yep.
And just does such a good job at kind of getting in there, especially with the Empower.
Natural Diffusal Carrier, like you mentioned before. Great versus Omni, and then also now great versus the Ember Spirit, and even good versus Warlock.
I think EG sort of, they want their lanes to not have Baboka just running to them and getting like a lot of harass. They want these kill potential heroes. This Doom gives you kill potential pretty much anywhere on the map, and Jug will obviously just dust and spin a Riki. So maybe that's their plan on shutting down Baboka. Maybe they have a different plan than just banning all these heroes. They're going to counter his playstyle instead.
Yeah, it looks
There's
like
also the fact that it is groups again, and they can test teams, can't they,
Yeah.
sometimes, and say, well, okay, let's give them the Riki and see whether we can figure out how to beat him.
It's very true. I think people often understate the difference between a scrim and an official.
Yeah.
In the official, you know if you test this out, they will try their hardest to win. Except Low and VP, apparently. But
Yeah. The Virtus Pro don't need to try.
they don't. They're so
They
good.
just play 22 heroes in 3 games and just mess around. It's fine.
I mean, they're feeling very confident.
Yeah, they are.
Deservedly so, though.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been great.
Jug is also, I guess, like a really like self-sufficient lane as well. So if the Doom, this is where we're going to find out if it could be a support too. So maybe that's where they're like leaving it open so he can stay alone. And then Rubik Jug, like you mentioned, is a very good kill lane. So
Interesting last ban from
That-
EG.
That was a... Go ahead.
I was just going to say that, I mean, that last ban from EG is a burning hero. We've seen him play that a lot, especially in DPL. And I don't know if that's a cover pick, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, Zoe, on why it's important.
Yeah.
I thought it was an amazing ban.
Yep.
I think that hero... What IG needs is they need a carry who jumps in and can use this repel and sort of make space. In the same way that Doom will make space for his Magnus to get this RP, he wants to make space for this Fatal Bonds Rock. Not only that, but Wraith King is very good with these high cooldown ultimates like Omni / Doom and RP.
Whoa.
And Tiny. I saw Black play Tiny earlier too. He had a pretty good
He had
early
a
game,
very
but
good
did.
game
Yeah.
yesterday.
They won that, right?
They won that
They
game
did end
yesterday.
up
He
winning
went
that game.
15-1 and
Yeah, he was
something
crushing.
or other yesterday.
Yeah,
he
he
was
was.
really good
handily
on it.
won that game.
Yeah.
That hero
MVP
is-
of the game.
Definitely underrated. What does this cup say?
He's good. He's a good player.
Oh, well, it's the opposite of this cup.
Bit overrated.
He's a good hero. A bit underrated, in my opinion.
And the Sven last pick.
So yeah, Sven last pick into the IG team.
So kind of like similar, not like exactly the same as the Wraith King, but a kind of similar thing. He goes in and starts the fight with
Similar
Power.
Yeah,
idea.
I think that's really what
Yeah.
they're looking for.
Mm.
I don't think it quite accomplishes the same thing as
Yeah.
a Wraith King. Sven is a lot more kiteable, and they already have natural ways to purge off his Warcry, and then Jug will probably build the fields of this game anyways. But I could see it working. Sven Omnilate's a classic combo. He's one of those heroes that can blink in and achieve this burst with the repel.
Okay, good stuff. Not to put too much pressure on you guys, but you're 2-0 so far in this series. Can we make it 3-0, Conrad?
I personally like EG in this one. I think the Tiny pick, they have a plan. They know how to execute it. Magnus Juggernaut, we've seen that be successful in the past. How can
Yep.
I argue with those results?
Okay, EG for Conrad.
I have troubles betting against EG, so I'll go with EG. Last game, I really liked IG's draft over
Yeah.
EG's, but EG almost managed to win anyways.
Indeed.
I think, to be honest, I think they're playing better than IG right now.
Okay, so EG for Howie as well. You're just waiting for production to put EG up, right? Yeah,
Yep.
because you don't need to say anything because production have probably already figured out. Look at that! What do you
Yep.
know? They've already figured
I
out.
really like the Mag Doom combination. I think it makes it really hard to play into that. It's really difficult if they do come out of the early game. It's like that late game potential is absurd.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, all three. We'll head back to our commentary team for game number 3. Hold on to your seats, everyone. It's been bumpy so far, but very fun to watch. Let's hope game 3 is exactly more of that.
Well, it seems in the overcompensating has now gone back to what it was.
Yeah.
So it's EG, American flag all the way. But I don't know, man. IG, it's different, it's creative, it's strong in the lanes. The Sven pickup, the panel was a little bit odd about it. Like Wraith King, you were calling it yourself, like was probably going to be a better pickup. Is Sven still going to be able to achieve enough for them?
I'm not so sure. I'm kind of following the panel on their switching back and forth on the predictions. I think in the second game, IG's draft was significantly better in game 1, not only for them, but also against what EG had. And this time around, I just flat out like EG's draft better. I'm looking forward for IG to prove me wrong here, but after I saw their first 4 picks, I didn't see the obvious synergy between them. You know, Warlock and Omni Knight, they want to play like this. They want to 5-man go to push a tower and keep their carry safe, who is doing the building damage. Ember can't be the pushing hero. He's more of a mobile hero that gets around and sets up fights. And Ricky is the same story. Ricky doesn't really play too well into this 5-man style. So their last pick needed, for me at least, to solve a lot of problems. It needed to be a carry that can manage being doomed. It needed to be a carry that can deal damage to towers. And it needed to be a carry that can go in and set up this whole teamfight strategy that they want. I think Sven was a great choice, but I'm still skeptical. I don't know how good of a Sven game this really is. The hero is on paper really good against Juggernaut because you have the Warcry against Omnislash is very nice. It's been a classic counterpick in the past. But there's just a lot of things to deal with here. And as they rightfully pointed out, Rubik against Omni Knight. Maybe it's going to be Omni Knight playing against a better Omni Knight. Rubik is faster cast time, and he could just get doomed. So, tricky game. I favor EG clearly in this, but like you said, IG, their lanes could go very well. They have Baboka Ricky. We've seen it win.
Yep. And
let's see how much they can do.
Maybe that's also the play. Like, is Baboka causing issues? You are running that tiny in the mid. It's not the easiest thing to run away with. And OP's going to have a lot better lane than he did last time he played the Ember Spirit. And up on top, XXS is loving this top lane against Universe. Both go PMS, but already with 2 purifications, Universe is on the back foot of this lane. And then on bottom, yeah, Bunny's going to take damage, but you got Warlock. Fantastic hero zoning out the lane. Crit doesn't really do much in the early game. He can combine up with Arteezy, but that's only if they feel confident enough to really actually be aggressive with Telekinesis grab.
I'm wondering why EG chose to go for this laning setup, because...
To actually dodge it and put Universe versus the Omni?
In my mind, Omni Knight wins this lane.
Stormbolt.
Fairly convincingly.
Bobica, crit. Oh, Sentry Ward or not, there's still a lot of damage coming up from Bobica. He'll need one more attack. The orb is doing work, but it's not enough. Bobica, he'll get the hit. So he will actually give up his life, but Bobica will take first blood. Well worth it if you're that Ricky.
Well, especially Arteezy didn't get the last hit on the Ricky, so his gold gets split as well for them. Good start for IG here. Warlock wasn't even involved in that. He was out polling at the same time. And this is what makes me wonder why EG are going for this laning setup. Do they think that with this aggressive dual lane and the Doom rotating in, that they can beat this safe lane so much that it's worth leaving a flat-out one-on-one mid, and this Omni Knight will get a lot? I think Omni Knight loses to very few melee heroes just because Purification is such an amazing... It's such an effective way to use mana that you heal yourself and damage the opponent. It's a great trade-off spell.
Oh,
and he has
Zai.
the Degen Aura.
Zai is moving up, like he wants to go for a kill over on the Warlock, but Bobica body blocking him out, so Zai knew he couldn't just walk down with a Shadow Word. The damage is decent. The Orb of Venom is allowing them to keep up as well. And now in comes the Rubik Fade Bolt, reducing the damage so Zai can continue his run. But that's the other thing about the bottom lane. Like, I suppose like when you've got both Crit as well as Arteezy down here, Bobica's looking more to that lane than to try and stop the jungling Doombringer.
If you can counter the enemy's supposedly safe lane carry, as it could have been this game, and at the same time secure your own carry farm, and you have 2 other matchups that you're expecting are even or even favorable, this is the place to be as Ricky. There's no doubt about it. This is the best play for him on the map right now. Eventually, when the Ember gets more levels, there will be kill potential on mid. I would like to see a Bobica rotate maybe at level 5 into that mid lane to try to go for a kill. We might even see the Ember go like a 3-0-2 build to have that extra damage on change, since the Tiny can break Flame Guard pretty well.
Oh, Arteezy going to spin on bottom lane. A quick telekinesis. Oh, I say quick. It's a little bit delayed telekinesis grab. The hilarious thing is, though, that ward that was de-warded on the bottom lane, it was timing out in 5 seconds before it actually got consumed. So Crit's next sentry ward, they know exactly where that sentry is down, so they can just battle for the vision and win.
It's still a free sentry, you know? If you get rid of an ops with a sentry, it paid for itself and you got a bit of XP. So it's all right. Oh, Dust from Zai. I don't really know if he can kill this guy. Oh, Crit might actually be able to connect because of this creep hurl boulder.
Yeah,
very short duration.
This is also insanely slow Bobica with no boots and being slowed down by the dust, but he stuck around. So Crit comes in closer. The Dire Observer Ward knows there's no one else up on top of that hill, and Zai, with the Scorched Earth, thought he could keep pressuring it, but can't even get the rune.
And now EG have expended the one advantage that they would have over this IG safe lane. They have used the Shrine, and all they managed to get out of it was a trade in which there was a 1-for-1 kill that favored IG. Burning is out-farming Arteezy, and they're pulling, and they're winning top lane.
Yeah, and they're winning it hard.
Magnus is getting trashed, actually. And it's not Universe playing particularly bad. This lane is just really, really hard. Omni Knight is so good at this type of lane. 25 for 14 against 10-0. It's not just that he's out-farming him. He's out-leveling him super hard. 15 denies.
Bobika, the Searing Chains from OP is going to be able to connect and skew it down. Universe has to create space, but Bobika jumps up. Samel will have to trigger the Shrine, but no! He'll get done by the Riki.
He's actually channeling his inner Monkey King. That was like a 400 range melee attack right there.
It's the longer range dagger.
I actually can't believe he got that hit off.
It's a reacher, man. It's a reacher.
You know, daggers are not a long. It's not a long sword. It's a dagger. A dagger doesn't reach that far.
Maybe
it was a fishing pole.
Maybe he's learnt the art of the throw. Except he's doing it against EG.
Actually, it'd be pretty cool if Riki had like a dagger throw. Kind of what PA has. It's very unoriginal. Great idea, Sim.
You make it.
That was actually your idea. Bad idea, Toby.
Oh no, we could slacks this.
Yeah.
We could definitely slacks this. The dagger actually throws, allowing you then to Phantom Strike to a target.
Let's keep our eyes on top, actually. This could get scary for Universe. Riki is one-on-one build, so there is the smoke screen now available. They can always just put an Omni heal on top of him. Oh, he's going to go bottom. There's trouble in
Paradise. Q.
Q's dead.
Yeah, he gets spun out, but Burning's moving over. He actually doesn't have... Actually, he's got the stick charges, so there is mana if he wants to go for the Storm Bolt. Lets it go on the Juggernaut. Bobika puts down the smoke screen as well. Juggernaut, the damage is going to be enough, even with the quick little blink strike from Bobika. Arteezy had the assistance from Crit to get the kill.
Oh,
the Crit wave
but it's
moving in
set
at
up
OP. He's just looking at Rubik before he ended up Searing Chaining him up. But the damage, the burn, it should be enough from the Flame Guard to get the kill on Crit. But no more follow-up, and you did rotate the Ember away from Samael to do this. But it brings Ember Spirit very close to that level 6. And in fact, now he has it after picking up the Bounty Rune. So now there's kill potential in the mid lane against Samael. Even though Samael is level 6 and does actually have the 3-2 combination, you always have to respect that Ember's damage.
I wonder what EG are going to do with Arteezy now. So what has happened now is that Mag has rotated into the jungle because he got destroyed too hard in lane. He knows this isn't worth it for him. So they're going to put Crits Rubik in top lane to soak that experience and get whatever last hits he can. As a result, Arteezy is solo off lane on Juggernaut right now. And this is not a safe place for him to be with Riki off the map. So his farm should also get limited. I'm looking towards the Samael to start getting something done with this haste rune. I think finding a key pick, or at least keeping on farming at this rate so he gets a fast blink, they're going to need this play potential, because this Doom has not really accomplished way too much just yet.
Universe can accomplish anything. Like, Bobika just reminded him that he's a Riki,
yep.
and he's watching it. This is the standard wards we saw coming out from IG every time they played these roamers, be it Monkey, be it the Riki. Always looking for the opening, and always making sure the jungle is in a place where the Magnus can disappear to farm.
Crit can die here. This Riki just got his Ring of Aquila. He can blink strike in, get Omni healed, and smoke screen.
This is number 1.
Yep.
There's another 2 where that came from.
There may be more to come. I think he wants phase boots first, though.
Oh,
this is big if he gets it right now.
You see him positioning it in the open area where he can run a straight line. So one attack, he'll need 2 to do it. So Courier's down.
2/3 of a level for Riki. Or 2/3 of a level. And a good 1,000 gold first team.
Decent. How about more money? Omni Knight gets an 8-minute Hand of Midas on this off lane. He actually bypassed finishing up his Arcane Boots in order to pick up the Hand of Midas.
XXS is absurdly farmed on Omni Knight right now.
He's at 3.8k compared to the highest on EG, who's 2.8k, and that's the mid-tiny.
And this is without a kill, even. Like, he actually doesn't have any kill or assist gold. It's just flat-out farm in lane.
The Finger of Death has arrived, a.k.a. Riki, combining it with Purification.
Yep.
And Arteezy has to be careful about it, because he's not going to see it coming.
They can kill him.
If they smoke screen up...
I think they got him.
All right, there's Purification, smoke screen,
I was wrong.
and he'll be okay. But this already forces him back and triggers the healing ward. And it's a level 1 healing ward. That's not enough life to go back into the lane.
I thought Omni Knight was going to be able to close the gap a bit more in Arteezy with the level 2 degen and just get in melee range and that they could like club him during the smoke screen, because that wasn't far off. There was 150 health on Arteezy.
Well, they found another target. Hi, Crit! Bye, Crit.
Oh, he's going to live.
Oh, Purification doesn't work, but he does get the telekinesis grab at the jump up. Bobica now Omni Slash. Bobica needs to go back into invisibility, able to do so on 25 HP.
He always does.
He always... Now you're a Sith. You're dealing in absolutes.
It's gonna be so annoying to play against. Like, it feels like this guy always gets away with no health. Probably he assessed the threats there. Like, he more than likely checked Juggernaut's mana and his number of stick charges and knew, okay, Arteezy will have Omni Slash, but not the spin. With a spin there, that's a kill 100%. And got away. So, effectively forced an Omni Slash, forced crit back to base, and all he paid with was his own rotation back to base. So, ulti, wasted.
And because this movement's coming out from EG, I was wondering if IG would have enough confidence to do what they're doing, where Burning is now able to have like ancient stacks prepped. Like, yeah, you got a Magnus on the field, the Empower's not going to come up anytime soon, same with the Aghanim Scepter from the Tiny. But these type of stacks is just opportunities for EG to try and contest, but Burning's just so damn strong, already having that Morbid Mask picked up, and he is going to complete it into a Mask of Madness with the death of these Ancients.
IG are winning this game really, really hard right now, in my opinion.
The only thing they're missing to be completely in control is the Warlock level 6.
Yeah, it's just...
And Sumail is going to take that life away from him.
Not going to happen right now.
That was a 3-4 combination. Now he's up to 4-4. Bobica's watching him, but you're not going to fight. God's Strength was already triggered to do the Ancients.
It's important, I think, for IG that they're building this kind of advantage, because I still think their lineup falls a little bit flat in some aspects later on. But if they can build this big of an advantage, they can probably compensate for the problems that they would have. EG might still be feeling all right. They know the Tiny Blink is coming soon. Magnus knows he's behind, but he's working on it. Doom, however, in my opinion, really low level right now. Zai's level 4, closing in on 5. They gave the Tome to Rubik so he could get Spell Steal and steal this Purification level 4. And I would really like to see them make use of this for
bottom
play.
lane, they can try it. Universe pulls them in, but Bobica jumped himself down. Q still ended up taking a fall.
Very nice execution, though. They RP'd. Crit came in at the exact right time with the level 4 Purification. They skewered, they got a kill, but it was only on the support Warlock.
Yep.
So RP is down.
And he still managed to hit his level 6. So in 7 seconds time, he can TP down at the bottom lane and potentially fight this if he has more friends.
They may have forgotten about Bobica. This is actually really scary.
Bobica? Okay.
All right, apparently not.
He jumps in. XXS was here.
Oh, Ember couldn't connect. I thought Ember might have had a TP, because that could have been really dangerous. If Ember TP's in behind the tower there, and just jumps in.
They had the TP on Burning. It was actually triggering Shrine, so potentially he could have come back to be the man.
But instead, it's going to be Omni Knight joining. It doesn't really accomplish anything.
Yeah.
But he's just going to farm. IG is still sitting comfortably with top 3 net worth.
Reason why Burning doesn't go, so he can pick up the double bounty. It's been sitting there for almost 2 minutes.
The issue that IG will run into is this double Blink Dagger that's about to come out for EG. Well, the first one is coming out now for Sumail.
Bobica. Again, another Courier. He's got the Haste Rune. Back into
dear.
Invis, he'll get the Courier, and then into the Tricks of Trade.
Oh, he's even gonna kill
has
it.
to kill
No!
Zai as well on the edge. He gets Courier and Doom. Oh, this man, there's a reason why you first face ban. Well, you can't ban him. It's not possible. Even if you take the Riki out. Bobica's Arsenal is just so brutal. And Sumail now, Blink Dagger up, jumps himself in. Q, does he want to drop the rock? You bet your Nelly he does. With the Fatal Bonds connecting Sumail and Crit together, the jump forward from OP, Purification. It's Crit trying to keep them alive. Able to do so and also just push IG away, but with that Golem up and running. It's Invictus Gaming that want to do damage to the Tier 1 tower. God's Strength committed by Burning as well. Sumail doesn't really have a combination. Universe doesn't have his RP. But with the toss damage, Invictus Gaming, they back up for the moment. But Bobica, you know what he wants. 1 is an Aquila, and 2 is Crit Scalp on his wall.
Oh, Crit just heal himself. He can't kill him. He needs some assistance here.
What do you get?
Bobica is doing so much work this game. It's like he's effectively just dominated the map for this amount of time. If you get 2 courier kills, set up 3 kills including First Blood, or actually 4 kills, and you're countering the Doom's jungling at the same time, like he's managed to do all of these 3 things, you're playing a really good game. This is very impressive stuff for him.
I say Bobica would be scared. Hello, Avalanche toss, middle lane, OP, just Spirit jumps away, and now Bobica jumps in. He knows the combination from Sumail is not there. The question is, can they get in range for the Purification? Tricks of the Trade, it is just enough. The whole timing in with the Sleight of Fist searing change. You steal Purification again, but it's too late to help his Tiny out. And now this mid push does happen with Catapult in tow.
I'm not sure they can get it, though. There's no Golem. Fate Bolt is annoying. Like, this was the problem I was mentioning about IG's lineup. Like, they're not that good at hitting towers. It's only
Not
really
until Sven gets bigger.
Sven needs to get bigger or have his ultimate ready. It's now off cooldown, but it's a bit too late here. So tower is defended. And Arteezy, we haven't talked so much about him lately. He's just been farming the top lane. He's trying to catch up the best he can.
The other hero to look at too is Universe.
Right.
He got a lot of
Kills the
space
healing
on
ward.
bottom, got the last hit on the tower, and now actually has a Blink Dagger.
He's actually dealing really big damage here. Arteezy's going to be forced to TP out. Boboka? Okay. Just tanking Blade Fury for fun.
Yeah, it's just his thing.
Yep. Arteezy actually didn't TP back to base. He TP'd to his own tier 2, so now he's really low.
Well, he's just trying to farm.
Yeah.
At least knows there's no Ricky.
He's leaving the wolf for Zai, and he's going to go use the shrine. So, all right. Omni Knight is building Pipe as his first item, it looks like. And he's already queued up Pipe and Greaves. So very clear game plan from him as far as items are concerned.
Does he actually finish the pipe? Because it makes sense that he gets the hood.
Or actually,
the rest
you're right.
of his
You're
mech.
right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. He's only keeping the hood.
Yeah.
Yep.
So at least he can tank through that initial magical damage of EG.
I think Pipe is still really good this game. He might
He can get it
consider
later.
getting it after the Greaves. It's just, you're playing against Scorched Earth, you're playing against Tiny's combo, just being able to protect your teammates and having that resistance aura is very, very useful. Even against Blade Fury, it helps. So,
EG
it would
are
be
coming
a very
north.
nice item.
They're-
They have
they're
the Mag Blink now, right?
They're looking for some kind of fight.
Yeah, they want to use their Blink Daggers. I think they're feeling the pressure right now that IG are
They don't
getting
have
a
a
lot
target.
out of the map.
And IG, they sense something coming. They scan to the east of their Tier 1 tower on the top lane.
This could get
And because everyone's
really
missing.
dangerous.
Like, everyone's off the map at the moment.
This can get really, really dangerous because Warlock will have a good position here. EG don't have the best heroes to catch him off guard in the trees.
Here they
don't
come.
have a vision hero this time. And if they get a good golem drop and Ember follows through on top of it, this can be a complete disaster for EG. This Doom is not tanky.
Here comes Burning. He's looking for the denial on the tower. Can't get it. Arteezy will actually claim it.
They were too late.
Yep.
EG got away with it.
That they did. And they're already starting to TP out. Samel's going to head to bottom lane.
Crit sticking around with Arteezy for now.
They're just going for a straight trade-off.
I guess so.
Like, they'll see Samel defending the mid lane, which is what OP was pushing in before.
Yep.
So now that you don't actually have the Tiny there, you do have the option where Magnus is able to go for the RP, but there's no power buff up on the Juggernaut at the moment. He kind of needs that from Universe.
Important steal there. They get Purification again. When you're running a triple melee lineup like this, Purification is really powerful for EG to sit on all the time. It gives that extra little burst on the Tiny combo that could push it over the edge against a hero like Ember. Great with RP, obviously. Any RP gets that extra 300 damage nuke. Good
We
stuff.
haven't seen Sven really a hell of a lot lately. What do you think about him doing this build? Like the Mask of Madness, now he's going to go into an SMY. The Yasha's coming on the Corey at the moment.
This seems to be the build he does almost every single time. I like the Mask of Madness just by nature of how the hero works. He has his 80-second cooldown ultimate, and his other active abilities.
Okay, Bobrika, that was
Not this time.
Yeah, he jumps in to get the last hit, and Samel is very happy to put him down.
But the idea of the Mask of Madness is that Sven has an ability that boosts his armor, so the punishment for using Mask of Madness is less severe, and all of his cooldowns are longer than Mask of Madness, and you pop all your abilities when you go in anyway. So there's like nothing you need to cast. Helps ramp up your farm. SNY solves some mobility problems.
Okay,
That's good.
drag the creep wave down, get away from the tower. Fortification's going to stop Samel's toss from doing enough damage to kill off the tower straight away. And Burning, you know what he wants. Again, he's looking for another denial. They're only tossing a catapult in, but Sven does get that deny out.
IG seem a bit hesitant. I'm wondering if that fight isn't playable by Burning just popping all his stuff and going on Arteezy and seeing if they can set up a fight, but
They might have
probably-
also been worried because the mech only just got completed for IG.
Yeah, and Ricky was dead, but could have TP'd in if they kept the tower alive. They might have just felt like it wasn't worth the risk. That tower was already low, so even if they save it, it will probably fall shortly after.
But with these engagements, like, well, at least with the trade-offs, I should say, that EG's been taking, they are slowly starting to whittle this lead away. It was just over 4,000 gold going the way of IG. Is starting to dip down. The experience was the bigger one, 7,000 in favor of Invictus Gaming, and it's only just starting to dip now.
Coincidentally, when Doom starts getting levels in Devour and a Midas, that seems to happen.
Oh.
But Doom is the kind of hero who I feel like it's a bit deceptive on, because the hero is built in such a way that it needs to be really farmed. Like, items on the hero are not as effective as other heroes, so he needs to compensate by being ahead. Similar to Alchemist. So the fact that they're still behind with a Doom who's this far down on farm is not a healthy sign for EG, but like you said, they're working their way up. This tower, they're definitely not going to get this
Yeah,
one.
Doom's in trouble. He's going to try and TP out of this one with the Spirit Damage and Purification.
They just gave him hope for a moment there. They kill him on like 0.2 of the TP with Purification. And that is soon to be Guardian Greaves. Actually, they don't really counter anything. There's
Universe.
no roots or silences on EG for now. But obviously the armor is really nice. When you start getting low against Doom, the armor kicks in, so you can out-heal Doom.
You're asking for a Diffusal carry nice and early on. Arteezy has managed to complete that now. Coming out in the courier. So he left it as the casual Yasha before going into the Manta.
Obviously, you can only purge the Guardian Angel, but that's still a big deal. I have trouble seeing EG killing a guy who's repelled with Warcry on. I think Omnislash will not nearly get the job done. Tiny can't deal any damage. Doom can cast his Doom on him, which is nice, but the question is what the trade-off is. So, for example, if they repel this Sven and he gets a Blink Dagger, which is exactly what he's doing now, I love this choice. They repel the Sven, he jumps in, he pops everything. I actually think they can't kill him. And if they want to, they have to commit really key abilities and group up, and then all of a sudden, guess what? There's a Warlock. So the lineup for IG is starting to come together now, as long as they can enforce fights breaking out in the first place. Similar to game number 1 and 2. EG will probably try to avoid that happening.
Oh, similar to game number 1 and game number 2. We've got another 50 minutes to go.
Was game number 1 that long?
No, game 1 wasn't that long.
Oh,
Hello, mid lane. There's your jump forward.
See a crit.
And reveal with the repel up. That's one very dead Rubik.
That's a dead tower as well.
And now, with no Fade Bolt, with no ability to pull him off the lane, they can fortify and buy some time, but that's only because they already had it. But the Skewer, Bobrika gets pulled back in range of the Tier 2 tower.
Very
the
nice
Dire
sentry.
Sentry ward on the hill is what scattered him out.
Takes the bullet there. I don't think they could have really killed the Sven, so essentially probably a bit of a wasted death. And importantly for EG, he did not get his Observer ward out. I think Bobrika was there to get a deep ward toward the right side or close to the Tier 2 mid to get some better information about what plays they can get away with, especially... That was the first Tier 1 they got, by the way. 21 minutes in, IG got that first tower, so definitely highlighting the issues that the lineup has with that compared to EG's taking all the Tier 1s.
Yeah.
But this is when it starts kicking in. Sven is fat enough now that he can just go for it.
Yeah, he doesn't care that Tier 1 towers are down. He can either force down the buildings or feel comfortable enough to farm inside of his own jungle. Yeah. You're taking the Tier 1 towers, but Sven's still #1 on the board for net worth. We kind of expect that with Sven to be a couple of thousand ahead, but when the Omni Knight is still, like, he's also in the 10k.
Zai is in trouble.
Nice. He blinks, dodges the Stormbolt, and retreats back to his friend Crit in the bot lane.
I think they didn't realize, else Bobrika would have definitely opened on him with just an attack to begin that. So Zai, quick reaction, gets out. And
but the trade-off now is going to be that bottom Tier 1 tower. Burning's already pushing towards it.
I don't think EG are interested in this. They're going to try maybe for Roche, but the lineup is not that fast yet.
And with the Shrine there, it's dangerous. Burning's already coming.
They're not going to let them even try.
There's the Observe ward on the hill, I think. Yeah, it's actually being de-warded now by Crit, so they know what's going on.
They might think they're in the pit because the scan... Oh, that's really nice by EG here. So the scan was red. And IG are going to assume, okay, they just saw multiple of our heroes in the bottom area. They're going to try to Roche while we push the tower. And they try to catch them off guard. But EG, one step ahead on that move. Oh,
Samael.
That failed a bit. He has a Force Staff, though. Good item choice, by the way, I should mention. One of the best items against Riki. You have to get out of that damn smoke screen. It is an issue.
OP. Universe is looking for it. The RP will connect. You still have the shield up, and maybe they have enough control. Burning comes in. The stun's over on the Doom. Sleight of Fist, and they're out. The Rock will connect with a 4-man Fatal Bond. EG, they can't take the damage. Samael actually has to turn this around and do some level of damage. As only Bobrika manages to hit. OP goes back in again. Burning, looking for the cleave, and he's actually doing it. Rubik's almost gone, but Arteezy with the spin. He's the man to stand his ground. They'll see Bobrika over in the tree lines. Skewer in, shockwave him down. And it looked like when the Rock dropped that IG had the advantage, but nope.
Omni being doomed is such a big deal. And Ember had to hard disengage as well. He got so low from the opening from Samael that he
Samael
is going to jump there.
He went on to XXS.
Oh, he's more than fine with his hood.
You know, 4-staff down. He didn't actually get over the ravine.
This could become a problem if the heroes get to respawn in time. 10 seconds on the Riki. They're going to be fine. They can disengage now.
Yep. There's still no rock up for Q now. So that's
still a
really
really
the problem.
big kill. They killed the biggest hero in the game. They got the kill on Sven. A lot of golden experience. I believe the last hit even went to Arteezy. It did. So that shifts the balance a lot. He's catching up. It is this peculiar matchup, Juggernaut against Sven, where, you know, in theory, Sven is such a great counter. But more often than not in games, you get these situations where Juggernaut gets a chance to jump the Sven, use Diffusal on the Warcry, and then all of a sudden, Sven is actually not that tanky. If you get rid of Warcry, and he still has Mask of Madness running, Omnislash can take off a big chunk, unless Omni Knight can cast Guardian Angel. But guess what?
He was doomed.
He was kind of out of the fight for 2 eternities and a half.
Oh, let's wait till the Aghanim Scepter's up.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that. Though.
Unlikely. The Doom is enough.
So here goes the tower. IG run back up there, taking advantage of EG's lineup having these long cooldowns. RP is a long cooldown. Doom is an even longer one. 145 seconds on all levels.
Borbeck has got a little bit of vision here.
Again.
He sees Zai. Oh, the Ember Spirit. It's a blind TP. Arteezy in 2 seconds. 1 second he let the ulti go, and Universe just blinks up an RPs. Let's Arteezy save the Omni Slash. And that was just Ember getting the information from Borbeck, but having no support, no vision of that TP.
And that's going to cost them a tower. Very nice setup here by EG. Seemed like they were baiting Zai, actually. Sending him in and keeping the other 3, hoping for a TP on the Shrine. That's what they got. Claiming this tier 2. And all of a sudden, this early lead that IG had has kind of trickled away. I don't even know if you should say they're leading anymore based on the graphs, because now it comes down to, like, how valuable is the gold? Omni Knight is not valuable if he gets doomed. I think he has to get this Lincolns that he's working on, but that's quite the ways away. It's like 3,000 to go, a bit more actually.
And Borbeck hasn't really been that frontliner to give the Omni Knight information of where he can position.
It's pretty difficult to play Riki at this point. If you don't feel safe anywhere, Tiny kills you instantly. That's the problem, is that if there's any sentry and Tiny's in the neighborhood, you die right away. And there's no reaction time. It's impossible. Blink toss is completely instant, and you just avalanche instead. Borbeck can't really play to his full extent right now. You know, he delivered so much in the early game, but it's fallen off a bit. He went 3-2-1 early. Since then, he has 3 deaths with only 2 assists and hasn't really seemed to find the fights that they were looking for.
IG just smoked on top of the EG ward. Arteezy knows about it. That's why he's sitting there. We'll send a couple of illusions down. Just one to looking towards Roshan, one to bait in the mid lane. It doesn't burn the smoke as IG go further up the mid.
Nice play from Baboka. He moved up close and his smoke broke, so he knows where EG are.
He's looking for crit.
And he's placing a sentry to try to get an idea of whether they have a sentry so he can make a jump. This is good stuff out of him, but they don't dare. It's too bad of a position. Even with RP down, they can lose this fight next to the Shrine very easily.
So they back up, back to farming, back to keeping the lanes pressured out. Because they're both still needing the space to farm up the Lincoln Spheres.
Something I'm wondering if they're going to do. Does he actually have BKB? Not yet. Burning needs the hammer still, but I was wondering at this point if they're going to start repelling the Riki just so he can get in.
No, Bunny's got the whole thing.
Oh, you got it?
Recipe's coming out in the courier, and he's got the hammer on himself.
He has the hammer on him. I didn't see it. Okay, so that's the BKB. So more than likely now, they will be repelling Riki or Ember and moving them in as front line, because all they need to do is get on top of EG with a repelled hero that gets to cast his stuff, and then immediately after, Baboka can follow through and actually do a lot. Smokescreen is a really big ability in this game, just because of how clustered the fights are destined to be. It's so many melee heroes against each other that both RP and Smokescreen are like the big fight-deciding mechanisms here. And IG are starting to close in on actually multiple Lincolns. OP will be getting Lincolns. Then when he's repelled, he can't get doomed. That's going to be a problem, because then he will frontline for sure.
Yep.
And this gives me more hope for IG, actually, because their itemizations feels like it will be a bit more impactful than what EG are getting right now. Especially Sumail, you know, his items are not scaling items right now. It's a lot about weaving in and out of fights. You have Blink, Force, and Echo Saber. But there isn't that like big farming mechanic item coming out from him just yet.
This also seems to be really difficult for EG to get eyes on the Omni Knight this time around.
Yeah.
Like, they've lost the vision and we hit nighttime. And they just don't know exactly where everything is. So Crit's going to be purchasing up a gem now. So the vision increase will be there, and it is Sumail who's the man to carry it. And they instantly find that fresh Observer ward. But this also reveals the fact now that the gem is up.
That could have been a sentry. They haven't seen the Rubik, or
True.
whoever the gem carry was. They haven't seen
There's
that.
Sumail.
It was Smith, okay. Didn't see him on the ward, I believe.
I saw him walk out, but it would have been pretty quick. Like
now they might have seen him on that ward. That's actually, they walked past this ward in the middle without finding it with the gem. This is a lot of information that IG have to work with right now. If they're going to wait here on the high ground and try to see if they can get a catch to begin with, and Burning can just jump in. Oh, good ward by Crit here.
Ember can also be, Universe! It wasn't the full committal. He pulled out the right moment.
He would have hit that, I think. It didn't look like Burning was ready to blink, but he hesitated, and probably a good idea overall there. That could have got scary.
Well, they still weren't ready to fight, because if they were forced into that engagement, and it's Invictus Gaming who had the high ground position, you'd have had to get the proper skewer out.
Oh, arguably, he could have made it. Might have been scared of getting slight chains.
Yep.
Then that becomes a complete disaster if he doesn't get the skewer out. He'll just RP, die, and then you'll run them down.
And then you lose Roshan.
That too.
Sumail's hovering around the pit, still inside that Shadow Blade of his. Thanks to the Observer and Sentry that's there from Invictus Gaming, they were watching his maneuvering. OP might be the one who's in a little bit more trouble. Sumail did manage to find the Invis rune. Goodbye, Crit. And instantly
really
Burning goes in.
Farmed, by the way. He has a full Scotty and Empower.
Okay, looking powerful.
Yep, he hits for 300 with Cleave.
Burning still got a little bit left of that God Strength of his, but he still hasn't finished up Roshan, so Arteezy leaves the healing ward behind. They get a smoke screen off Arteezy, forced up, gets him out of it, goes into a spin, wants to get out of this pit and allow the Omnislash to work, while Sumail on the backlines was looking for Q. He didn't hit the mark, but they did doom up the Omni Knight. That's why he didn't have everything else, but the Omnislash, Roshan cops almost all of it. Now you hit him off. Magnus and Arteezy, the escapee jumps in and out of the invisible Roshan pit. It's still not enough, and XXS, he survives. He got through the entire doom with Zion Sumail hot on his tail. But he doesn't care about chasing him. He tanks the Doom, and this will allow Invictus Gaming to claim Roshan.
I think EG did the wrong split there. Zai, in my opinion, played this fight completely perfectly. He blinked on the Omni Knight, he doomed him, he forced the Warlock away, the Golem is very mediocre, but they didn't get to take the Sven out. Arteezy was kind of stranded alone, like you said, unlucky Omnislash jumping as much on Roche as it did. Kind of sealed the deal for that fight. That actually looked, in my opinion, super good for EG, the way they got in there. Guardia, as you were saying, God Strength was ending. He basically didn't have it for the majority of the fight, and they got the Doom on the correct target. That should result in a one fight, but just a couple of misplays here and there. At least it really felt like it should have been their fight. But IG played with what they had, and now they got themselves a pretty significant advantage there.
Yeah, and now they get the items. It's the Lincoln Sphere up on OP. The Lincoln Sphere for Omni Knight is rapidly approaching as well. So that Doom, which has been so good from Zai. Like, Zai's found the positioning every single time. It's going to become more and more difficult. And the pressure is coming to the bottom tier 1 tower. Sumail already triggered off his shrine. Not sure if misclick or not, but he's ready to fight. Burning has God Strength off cooldown in just a second.
I'm wondering if this is a Daedalus game for Sven, or if he should go for the Bloodthorn. There seems to be a lot of good targets in this. If you can Bloodthorn the Mag before he RPs, or even better, Bloodthorn the Doom before he dooms.
He's got the Daedalus lined up.
He can give us Omni Knight a game, basically, by getting that on the Doom. At the same time, though, the Lincolns is coming up. So they know that. There goes the tower. And, well, what do IG want to do? They could continue here if they feel like it. Aegis on the Ember. It's still a fairly hard high ground to pull off, though.
Yeah. And they still probably want to get more damage on the Ember. It's great he's got all this defensive nature, but okay, there's your Maelstrom at least.
That's a good start.
How's the Warlock looking? You got 32 seconds until the Rock is up, and he's also building into the Solar Crest. Going to cause more issues for Juggernaut, who right now is looking to finish up a Mjolnir. So no true hit from Arteezy.
Oh, they're actually smoking to
Oh, they found XXS. The jump forward. Bobrika gets a 3-man smoke screen off, plus the tricks of the trade. It's so much damage. Zai's going to drop. Universe creates a little bit of space with his RP. They were still caught inside the smoke screen, so Universe couldn't do anything. Bobrika will come in and finish him off, and maybe there is enough damage. Crit's brought down. Arteezy stands his ground, but there is no more. With the spin, OP is low. The damage output, OP. The Aegis will burn, but it's still a triple kill for Bobrika. Zai wants to continue to fight, but OP is back. And he will be happy to man mode this Doombringer. Warlock will need to help out. He didn't even drop the rock. He has it up now. The Searing Chains hold him in position. OP with a Spirit jump forward. He'll have enough and he'll do it. Zai will end up falling. That was a die back from him.
6 for 3 and a gem. That is a really, really big win for IG.
The swing kicks it around 3.7k in the gold.
Boboka is doing so much damage, man. This Ricky is a really big problem. Again, they get the Doom on the Omni Knight. They get what they thought would be a good jump. 3-hero smoke screen, pops his ultimate. I think Ricky did about the same damage in that fight as the Ember or the Sven. Like just his ulti until he died hit 3 heroes 4 or 5 times, and that is with a diffusal blade, by the way. So
well, we saw this early today, right? We saw it with Kuro.
Yep.
And the amount of damage he was able to do, where he became really the proper third core.
Absolutely. This is just very good timing for him to hit that spike that they kind of needed in that fight, actually. If Boboka doesn't have the diffusal, the outcome of that might be very different. At least for EG, they did manage to bring down the Sven in the end. It looked like they weren't going to manage, but they got him down. But now the big problems begin. I think this item pickup is one of the most important in the game. Omni getting this, Linken's. If they are quick and want to, they can even drop Ember's Linken's on Omni as well and have him double protected.
Well, what else does EG have that can trigger the Linken's from far? Zai's going in for the Aghanim Scepter build. He actually is doing it as opposed to like even having a trigger item.
They have Spell Steal, Fade Bolt. Both of those spells have really good cast range. Telekinesis, a little bit worse, but still good. That's kind of about it. Omni Slash, but obviously it doesn't really do anything, but gets rid of it.
Samel's coming in for a kill on bottom. But it's an Ember Spirit. He just spirits up to the top lane. That's where the rest of IG is. They're getting ready to fight. They actually smoke through the mid lane, so they're wrapping around to the bottom. TZ's going to be pretty close by. Boboka might be able to reveal his position. In fact, yes, he will. He'll see him. A quick smoke screen, diffusal blade charge, and the perfect storm bolt. But if you're watching Universe, he's wondering if he should actually help out here with the RP. TZ with a spin moves up. There goes your RP on 2. It's more space creation, and the Guardian Angel plus the Grease being triggered. Magnus trying to run out this one, but the upheaval is making it impossible to walk. Even Burning, jumping in, 2 hit, or 3 hit. He'll get 4 on to crit to bring him down. Omni Slash now doing its work, but TZ has to keep the damage going with the spin. They look towards Burning. Maybe they can kill off the Sven. Yes, they can, but really, at what cost? You did manage to doom up the Omni Knight. You managed to get through the Linken's, but he got everything off beforehand.
There's no creep wave, so they can't get any pushing done, but that was still a very great fight for them. First time we see Omni Knight cast a spell in 10 minutes.
Yay! Woo!
Wonderful. That must have been really fun. He got to play his hero.
Celebrate good spells, come on.
Can you imagine being level 20? You had the greatest laning stage ever. You're level 20, and you've barely played your hero. Oh, that's got to be so frustrating.
He was a sponge.
But getting this Guardian Angel off and just casting a couple of spells, really major impact. We did, however, see in that fight what I was talking about with Jugger against Sven. He catches him off guard. The BKB is running out. And then he purges off the immediate Warcry from the Sven, and he almost solo killed him with an Omni Slash. And this is a really farmed Sven, so the plays still exist for EG, especially if Arteezy gets his next item. That should push him over the edge where he can almost always solo kill the Sven if the Purge gets out. But we're not there just yet. And of course, so much depends on whether they lock down the Omni or not. Great save by Universe, by the way. That was really huge that he got the skewer off.
Crit. He didn't feel comfortable running down the river just then. Threw down the sentry ward.
Oh, Bobokomas is Desolator.
Yeah. He does a lot of damage in 300
he's
gold.
spotting
And
all
now
of
we
them.
see 3 of them. The smoke screen. It catches 3. The 4-star get crit free. And Sumail blinks along with them.
Where's the gem on IG? Did they lose it again?
No one's holding on to it. It's in the base.
Okay, so they're
it's in the
hiding
Radiant base.
Okay, yeah. I think at this point you should pick it up and go for a little bit of a scout. Now that you know where EG are, and you are the way you're moving your heroes, it looks like you're pretty confident that your jungle is fairly safe. So you could go for a little bit of a scouting mission with Ricky, try to find a couple of wards, at least in their own jungle, just to get that information. Keeping it in the base forever is probably not a good idea. Oh, exactly. It's coming out now with the Deso. We'll be going for a little bit of a checkup here.
Oh, it's murder time.
Sumail is hunting, though. He has a dust. This Ricky deals absolutely insane damage now, by the way.
If Sumail can't even find the opening, because he wants, like, even if he blink jumps, you're still going to have time to get the tricks of the trade-off.
I want to see a Ricky ultimate right now.
Just to see everyone from EG die?
I think he two-shots Rubik. Actually.
Well, To be honest, Crit doesn't really have a lot. Like he's I think very happy to have over 1k HP.
It's a support Ricky two-shotting. That's what I think he's
this
going to do.
This isn't a support Ricky, man. Like this is the 4th position.
If you
There's
say
actually
so.
2.
Oh.
And now Roshan. Bobika should be attacking this. He does a lot of damage.
Look at that.
No, yeah.
This is a lot of minus armor. It's Solar Crest. It's Desolator.
It's Roshan.
Yep. Aegis going on Ember again. Oh, he's level 25 with Octarine. This is when it gets really nasty. He actually took the cooldown reduction over the Searing Chains duration. That might be the first time I've ever seen that. So the hero got nerfed, if you remember. The talents were different, so you could get cooldown reduction in the 3rd row, and then you could get Searing Chains in the 4th row, and now you have to choose between them.
They found Arteezy.
From
The Observe Ward let them see it. Arteezy, he's able to get the spin off. The smoke screen came very late, but OP's on his way in. Side of Fist Searing Chain? No, he'll hold on to it. Oh, sorry, back to your explanation for everyone who wants to know.
I wonder what the reasoning is behind this. I could be wrong. Maybe this is the new way people play Ember, but I still feel like after this patch, I've mainly seen Embers going for the 2-second Searing Chains. So what does he really limit or reduce the cooldown on? He reduces the cooldown on his Linkens. That's really nice. Cooldown on his Blink Dagger. And, of course, Sleight of Fist has a really low cooldown now as well. It's great, right? He has really low cooldown on everything. He has Octarine and this 20% CDR, so it is strong. Does it outweigh 2-second Searing Chains, though, in this game? I don't know. Are there any Lotus Orbs on the Dire, even? There's nothing that counters Chains right now.
Nothing.
It's literally a 5-second route every time he casts it. But all right, gonna go for the 3-second one instead. And it's a trade-off, right? I think the choice is way less obvious now, for sure, just because of how much 20% is. It's really, really big. Mjolnir coming up, going to be lower cooldown on that as well.
And meanwhile, IG like to keep the status quo. Keep the farm flooding in.
Arteezy is still farming so much.
Yeah, Arteezy's still #1 in net worth. He's only there by 800 gold, and he's going straight in for a butterfly as his next item.
He still needs to be careful. Even with evasion here, it gets tricky if he's close to anyone, because the Burning's Cleave will destroy him.
Bobika, solo kill, Universe, Diffuser Blade, yes, your 4-stars, jumps forward, Bobika, he's attacking him from the front with the tricks of the trade, he gets the kill, he solos Universe, and maybe now he goes for more. Ember Spirit will come in, another Diffuser Blade charge, Bobika has himself a double kill, jump up, Spirit away, you know Zai is hiding in the tree line, so OP jumps in, he didn't clear off the right trees, they don't know, Zai begins his TP, and he is out.
Count your lucky stars, that was really, really close. OP guessed wrong. He checked top and Zai went slightly more on the left. So that could have been even worse for EG, but they salvage it a bit. The heroes will be respawning before IG's wave. Actually, they have a wave here top. Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Sven hits hard right now. This is a very quick push.
He doesn't even have the full assault Cuirass sitting in his quick buy. Bobika, however, copy a little bit of damage. OP jumps in. He was looking for the Searing Chains and Arteezy, but the spin just lasted a little bit longer. He's got him back up again, and Juggernaut! Here goes your rocket! Caught Samael as well as Arteezy. They'll fight underneath the shrine, but even that regeneration is enough to save him. The gems on the deck. Crit is going to be able to regather that one, but first of all, he controls up OP, but OP's happy to fight. He gets another Searing Chain route over on Samael and Crit. OP, Linkosphere will trigger, but the damage onto Rubik. Crit can't even stay on the front lines. That's why Universe is forced to jump in, do the RP, skewering back Sven, but he's protected by the Lincoln Sphere. He one-hits into a purification kill over on that poor Rubik. The Golem's doing the objective-based gaming, bringing down the fortress while burning. He will finally be brought down. The damage is there from Arteezy, but the life may not be. Another shrine having to be triggered. He looks towards OP. The trouble is Bobika will drop IG. They're losing players quickly, but it may still be enough for them. Universe can't do enough. Even with this buyback, they have to bring back another one, and it will be Arteezy. To the front lines, defend the melee racks. He runs in, goes for the spin. The damage on OP is so high. Over 1,000 gold is 1052, higher than the GPEM of burning before. Arteezy will take the money off OP, and they will have enough damage to kill off this Omni Knight with the support of Universe. They'll get the kill. The Rax remains intact. It cost them heavily, however, with 3 buybacks coming out from EG.
Did I misread that fight, or did Arteezy actually kill Ember with an attack while he was spinning?
He did exactly that.
Because Ember was under Flame Guard, and I think the way it's coded with the Blade Fury is that if Blade Fury is not dealing damage to the target, you can hit them with regular attacks.
Correct.
So actually Arteezy got the kill off there because Flame Guard was off. That's a very, very weird interaction, if that's what's happened. At least that's what I saw.
Yeah, I saw
that.
exactly the same, man.
Yeah. Crazy fight, but
he did so much damage. He did 10,300 damage in that one fight.
Arteezy played that fight pretty much perfectly, I think. He baited them in. Sumail did end up dying, saving him with the Force Staff, but I think they have to do something like that, not to concede the racks for free. Afterwards, he gets the full Omni Slash off on the Sven, immediately purging Guardian Angel and Warcry with the same defusal, kills him off, plays around in the base next to the Shrine. Just overall really nice play, and still that fight was so hard because they had to commit the Doom on the Ember, but he had the Aegis. So when he comes back up, IG are basically playing a 6-on-5 without Doom, and that they're just not going to lose that fight.
Yep.
Eventually. That's going to be the inevitable outcome of that. And an inevitable, apparently, 25,000 gold lead and experience lead. Okay, that's a bit more than I thought it was.
It seems very heavy in favor of IG, but while you're still running the Magnus buff up, like it's still a little bit deceiving. Like, EG still have a lot to work with. They only lost their range rack, so the momentum in the lanes isn't really that heavy against them.
If they lose a fight now, it's over, though. Both the Jugger and the Mag bought back there. I think there was even a tertiary hero, was there?
You had
Tiny,
buybacks in that one
as well,
yeah.
all 3 cores.
Yep. You have the Doom and the Rubik, who still have buybacks for EG.
On EG. And it's a 4-minute 30 cooldown. So this is pretty much an all-in. I really like this play from EG, that they pose up aggressively, they take over the hill.
Well, they wanted a pick. They wanted IG to come out and say, oh, well, EG's just going to get control of their lanes back again. Now Burning, he'll jump in. It's over on Sumail, the force off out Burning. Actually, whoa! Oh, boy! Sumail just got Game of Thrones decapitated. The rock will fall down as well with the Agnes buff up at Universe. Maybe with the RP into the Omni Slash. It won't do jack. GA is up. They don't have the damage. Now it's going to be the Juggernaut. Arteezy, man to dodge all you want. It's still going to be Burning having a double kill. It was all in. There is no Arteezy for 2 minutes, and that may have been the fight to win the game.
That fight ended up awful for them, but I think it's the right choice. Arguably, they maybe shouldn't have...
And they called it. They have actually called it. The Doom didn't even kill off Bobakar. They used the Shrine to survive, but EG understand when this game is lost with no Arteezy to defend. That is Invictus Gaming taking the series 2-1.
I don't really... I think the choice of taking the fight there is the best choice they have. I'm not sure if putting Tiny in the lane like this is going to work out. You saw him kind of just die.
But what was the other bait? Like, if you put Arteezy in the same position, it would have ended even worse.
I'm not sure. I think it's the best choice that they have, because he can actually survive the initial burst. Maybe he gets a Manta off on a Sven stun or Chains, and then he gets the Omni Slash off together with the Mag RP. But baiting the Tiny who doesn't have buyback and will just get instantly shredded, I don't think was the right approach for this moment. But the idea they put up there, I think... Full respect for that play. I think anything else would have lost as well, and it was their highest win chance. So good understanding there from EG. But IG, I was just very wrong about their draft. It worked out a lot better than I thought it would. But also, honestly, Baboka did so much more in this game than you could have asked for. 2 courier kills, completely destroyed the laning phase, completely messed up EG's movements half of the game. That was incredible.
This looked like the Invictus Gaming we were originally thinking was going to turn up to this tournament. Like, Bobakar actually having an influence, the space being created, the laning phase just really working well for them. And of course, it brings back the questions as well. The Magnus versus the Omni Knight up on that top. Yeah, Omni Knight was absolutely nothing, but you can imagine what would happen if he had a harder lane and never got anywhere near that Lincoln Sphere.
I don't know about this laning from EG in the beginning. They got so far behind, and I think just regular laning would have easily been better. Maybe they were worried about some sort of alternative laning from IG that could have.
But if you're going to do that, you would have switched with TP scrolls pretty quickly.
I think so too. I'm a bit confused about that. I wonder what the panel thinks about that actually, because I didn't really have a clear understanding of what this aggressive lane from EG was supposed to be.
Yeah, of course, they didn't have an understanding either. They were all backing Evil Geniuses, saying they're playing better Dota, but IG playing better. Boys. Boys.
Yeah, sad boys, some might say. Bit of a link back to the old days there. Yes, EG going down in 3 in the end after opening up with a fantastic opening game. Didn't work out for them as IG stormed back into the game, playing much better as the game went along. It is a 2-1 victory for IG. They're going with a 3-1 record into the round of 16 and therefore the higher seed as well. Disappointing end for EG. Let's find out what our panel members thought of that. All of you went for EG. You thought they had a strong draft. I thought they were playing well. In the end, it hasn't turned out that way. IG really showing us why they are a great team.
Baboka.
Is it just down to the B God?
Not definitely not just down to him, but that early like laning phase and everything was a lot down to Baboka. I like the thing that Synderen pointed out there at the end, though. We were all kind of sitting there and we're like, why did EG go for this aggro type tri-lane? Because Omni Knight versus Magnus, as we mentioned, is very hard for the Mag, and we saw how over-leveled and over-farmed that Omni was. It was 13 minutes in, and he's level 13.
He had an 8-minute Midas.
Yeah, 8-minute Midas as well, so... EG did, however, kind of like bring it back a bit. They were kind of like evening it out at one point, and then they go for that Roche fight, and yeah, that's where IG really started just coming ahead and
we'll take a look at the highlights in just a moment. Aoi, I get the understanding that you learn more by losing. Have EG learned their lesson that you don't give Baboka the Ricky now? Have they learned that?
To be honest, I think if a couple of choices were different this game, I think EG would have won the game. They were coming back really well in the mid game. They have some. I really like the Yash into Diffusal by Artur. He was able to purge a lot of stuff, and I think they were just a couple of itemization choices away from winning this game. I think if Doom was just a bit more farmed, he picks up this Crimson Guard. A lot of people don't know this, but against stuff like Backstab, you actually block double with Crimson Guard. Against stuff like Sven Cleave, you block extra with Crimson Guard effectively. So something like that could have swung the tides in a lot of these team fights. Okay,
as you can see on our graph on the match scoreboard, the road to victory for IG. We'll start with the fight at 23-20, which in some ways, Conrad, could have turned it around for EG.
Yeah, it looked like things were going pretty well initially, and then everything just kind of fell apart. One key thing you see here is just Burning being able to get in and do the damage, being set up by all his other heroes. Baboka just setting everything up initially, and then OP being able to stop them as well. It's really difficult to say how that could have gone. But I think the one thing that IG did really well is make sure they keep them there so that Burning could deal his damage with OP. Keeping up that damage as well.
Yeah. Next highlight we've got is the Roshan fight, which is around about 30 minutes. These Roshan fights did not go well, Aoi, for EG, did they?
They did not. I think this was probably the most important fight of the game. We saw... I can't quite remember what the very end result was, but I think... Was this the one we had an unlucky Omni Slash?
The Omni bounce
the
Omni
Slash
3 or 4 hits there.
All to Roshan there, and they just completely lose out on this fight. When you have lineups like these, which are very team fight structured, the Roshan Pit's the place where you get the most even team fights. And losing those will be the most... determining of the next I'm going to say the next 15 minutes of the match, and just losing that fight was just
it seems like IG all the way through DAC and here have always had very strong Roche fights. We pointed out Secret weren't always prepared to go in and battle them there, so interesting that they won yet more of those kind of fights against EG when it really mattered. Our final clip is a big team fight around about 36 minutes into this game. It was kind of over for EG at this point. You and I came back quite early, actually, at the end. It's like about 3 more minutes of the end of the game happened. But the seeds were already sown by then. They were already on a losing streak.
Yeah, I mean, this was pretty much like the ending. This is, I think just before this, I think Baboka solo killed the Magnus as well, or maybe just right after this. But you could see the power of the Omni Knight pick coming out in here, in my opinion. It was like almost every time the RP would come out, Guardian Angel would come out. He can only defuse 1 target at a time, so it's really hard to be able to burst them in that. There's just a lot of different ways to counter-initiate what EG did have from the side of IG.
Yeah, you mentioned it before, as we'll just let that highlight play out, but there is a man that stood out in this game. And it was Baboka.
It was,
easily the MVP. Again, a great play by IG all around, but this man seems to just deliver that extra something that they need every time they play well. It seems to be that he is the catalyst to that. Why?
I mean, he just is. He seems to have such a good read on the map, like in all of the games that he plays. Honestly, like every single time, it feels like he always is understanding where the moves are going to happen before they happen. This game, he killed 2 couriers. Killed the bottom lane, goes top. He's already level 8 at, 12, 11 minutes in, something like that. And he forces a TP out of the carry. Like, being able to do that as a 4 Ricky that early in the game is absurd. Yeah. Like, he just seems like he's like omniscient in some type of ways.
Yeah, MVP Baboka. I mean, will the real B-God stand up, I think, was what we were asking in Game 2. And he finally turned up in Game 3.
Sometimes it's like this. Sometimes I think Baboka forgets he's not the carry of IG. It's like, you know what? Today I'm the carry Burning. He just gets... What do you have? Yasha Diffusal Desolator?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we would have seen the Pocket Ricky after those items too. That would have been hyped to see. Yeah. But, I mean, he did everything this game.
Yeah, I think the one thing he did really well is like Fog was mentioning, being in the right places at the right time, and then just having those high impact plays like taking out those couriers and getting those early kills. And with having all that early farm, he was able to deal so much extra damage during that whole entire game.
Yeah, getting deep wards in and just scouting the fights before they were happening, getting the positioning advantage.
All right, we'll hear more from all three of you in just a moment. We do have an interview ready right now. Let's catch up with Burning, who's with Shiva.
Thank you, Paul. Sitting here with Burning as well as translator MS. Burning, congratulations on your series, first and foremost, of course. Now, the IG that we saw in this series just now seemed very different from the IG that we saw against Team Secret earlier on today. What adjustments did you make during the break today?
首先非常恭喜李碧生啊，你们取得这场比赛的胜利。那么我想先问一下的是，这一局 IG 和 EG 打的比赛和之前 IG 输给 Secret 的系列赛当中的表现有很多的不同。那么请问你们在跟 Secret 比赛打完之后是做出了哪些调整和改变？
我觉得打 Secret 我们的整体的状态不是很好吧，而且 BP 做BP 做的不好，而且没有很深入的研究秘密这个队吧，所以说状态，然后加上准备不足，所以输给秘密了。打1G 我们可能准备的多一点，然后状态调整过来一点，所以最后呢赢下1G。
So basically, we were playing against Secret. So first of all, we weren't in our best form, and we weren't prepared really well. We didn't study them too much, so that's why we sort of lost. Oh, and we also had some problems during our draft. And we were playing EG. We were better in our forms, and also we had better preparations for Team EG, and that's why we won.
Okay, so in game one, not everything went according to plan. Obviously, lost that game, won the other two. But what went wrong with your plan in the first game?
所以刚才第一场打 EG 的时候，第一盘比赛，你们有哪些地方就是没有太实现你们的计划或者想法？就是什么地方出错了、出问题了，导致失利了呢？
我觉得第一场主要是怎么说呢？我们 BP 做的不好吧，尤其是小鱼人这个点就没有办法处理，他12分钟就引刀入侵我们野区，导致我们的空间被压缩吧，然后我们整体的就是经济不是很好，然后在入山关键团的一波当中，可能我们有点急吧，然后我在那个位置被吹风了，然后怎么说？那波我觉得一个是 BP 吧，一波是那波入山团，所以导致我们输了。
There are two important reasons. First of all, it's about draft. It was very difficult for us to deal with that Slark. So he had Shadow Blade on 12 minutes and walking around in our jungle, and we couldn't deal with him. So we weren't farming. There were our space was squeezed. So it was really difficult for us. And second one would be the really important Roshan fight. So I was initiated, so we didn't do that well in the team fight. So basically these two reasons.
All right, because in game two, it was a fairly tricky game. You were dealing with a lot of pick-off and split push from evil geniuses. What was your way to deal with that in the end?
第二盘比赛的时候，其实那场比赛也是很难说啊，因为对面EG的阵容有很强的抓人能力，而且有很强的分头带线的能力。那么面对这种情形的时候，你们是怎样去处理呢？
还是跟第一盘差不多吧，我们就是被压制得很厉害，但是我们的团战比较厉害一点，所以我们就是大家在一起嘛，抱团，然后去带线推塔，只能这样打。
Okay, it was a little bit similar with game one, and also our farming space was squeezed, but we were doing better in team fights comparing with game one. So we were trying to 5-man, no matter it's team fights or 5-man pushing. That's the only way to deal with split pushing strategy.
All right, it worked out well indeed. Now, yesterday you bought a Midas on your anti-mage first item. We have seen a lot of Midases picked up from a lot of teams during these group stages so far. What are your thoughts on the status of the Midas so far at this point?
那么在昨天的一场比赛里边，你的敌法是选择出了点金手，而且我们也注意到，在最近的比赛里面，点金手的出的是越来越多了。想请问一下你对于点金手这个道具的看法？
点金手就是比以前多了30块钱嘛，每次点金。然后现在，这个版本在更新的，就是有点在往中后期打了嘛，所以在大多数军事局的当中，大家都会选择用点金手去补充自己的经济补充后续的装备。所以我认为其实就是比较合理的一种现象吧，因为版本在往中后期拖，然后有前期的一些钱变少了嘛，然后推塔受阻，反正就是整体节奏往后拖，很多时候对进攻的一方就不太有利嘛，所以大家都会出点金手去，就打成一个5肥的情况吧，大家都肥。
So basically, we sort of believe this meta is about late game rather than you can finish it very early. So, and also metas, every time you use it, you have 30 more gold than previous. So if there's no very obvious advantage or disadvantage in the game, we want to make meta.
Okay, welcome back. I actually don't have any words left after that. I have no idea how that translator is able to translate such incredibly long. I was sitting there thinking, how is he going to remember everything? Props to you, Mr. Translator. That was absolutely incredible. I've never seen anyone do that kind of translation so long. In terms of the way that it's come out, what do you make of that interview from Burning? You seem almost fed up with stuff and kind of miserable after winning. And do you think it's that they're just disappointed with the way that they've played against Secret in the first game against DG?
I think probably a bit. I think they probably wanted to do a little bit better coming out here. They probably wanted to be the first seed. So I think that he's probably a little disappointed off of that just because of how dominant they were previously.
Interesting to hear as well, not enough preparation on Secret. They obviously didn't expect to play Secret in that particular match.
It's not just that. There is not a lot of data on Secret.
Yeah.
They didn't play anything before this other than the qualifiers, which were a couple patches ago and a month ago. So it's just a hard team to prepare for, and they've been playing super good Dota.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, thank you to all three of you. It's been great having you on the panel. Conrad will be returning with us as well. We are headed to a very quick break, and it is a quick break because when we come back, we have our final game of the day. It will be TNC versus DC. Really looking forward to these two clashing. It's been fireworks so far for both of them. Can we see some more? We'll leave you with some sights of Kiev. In the meantime, we'll see you soon.